My exclusive story, the lesson from the old wooden box. Tonight, sitting quietly in my office in the early hours of April 2nd, I look at the achievements I've made, and my heart is filled with a mix of emotions. A memory suddenly rushes back, as vivid and dramatic as if it were just yesterday. A personal story I've never shared publicly, a story that taught me a profound lesson about a principle that seems universally known. When eating fruit, remember the person who planted the tree, or as you might understand it in the West, never forget your roots or those who helped you along the way. I was once someone who was only interested in picking the fruit. Early success made me complacent. I ran my company with an unwavering belief that all achievements stemmed from my own extraordinary intellect and effort. I enthusiastically enjoyed the sweet fruits, the recognition, the comfortable life, completely forgetting the initial foundations, the people who had quietly planted the trees for me. The person I overlooked the most was my grandfather. My grandfather was a retired artisan who made handcrafted wooden furniture, a man who believed wholeheartedly in the value of meticulousness, patience, and a solid foundation. When I excitedly presented him with my ambitious startup plan, he didn't object. A faint worry flickered in his eyes. He simply handed me a small wooden box that he had made himself, containing a small amount of money he had saved, and said, "This box, to be durable and beautiful, needs to be made from good quality core wood, with strong joinery. Your career is the same. It needs a core, a foundation. Don't just chase after the superficial shine on the outside." At that time, my ears were ringing with grand visions. His advice, the wooden box, the small amount of money, all seemed insignificant and ordinary. I quickly forgot about them. And then, the dramatic storm hit. A wrong decision, a market downturn. My company faltered, facing the risk of complete collapse. Partners turned their backs, cash flow dried up. I faced the prospect of losing everything. During long nights in my empty office, fear and despair gripped me tightly. I felt helpless, like a rudderless boat in a terrifying ocean. During one particularly anxious night, while sorting through old, crumpled papers in a desperate attempt to find a way out, I accidentally came across my grandfather's old wooden box, the one I had tossed into a corner of a cupboard long ago. It was covered in dust, but the wood grain and the intricate joints were still there. A strange sense of anticipation rose within me. I opened the box. The money was still there, but underneath it was a small piece of paper on which he had written, "If the foundation is solid, the house will be sturdy." The principles of being a person and doing business are the same as making this wooden box, my son. That was the pivotal moment, not a loud explosion, but a powerful awakening within my soul. It was as if someone had drawn back a thick curtain that had been obscuring my mind for so long. I realized my arrogance and ingratitude. My initial foundation, the small capital, the first lessons in perseverance, the value of honest labor, all originated from my grandfather, from his savings, from the teachings I had dismissed. He had meticulously planted the roots for me, while I had only been focused on the flashy fruits above. The fear of failure was still there, but now it was mixed with shame and a profound, almost overwhelming sense of gratitude. I didn't use the money, but the wooden box and his message became my spiritual anchor. I remembered the principles he always followed in his carpentry: patience, quality from the core, and never skipping steps. I began to apply those principles to reviving my company. I faced the truth, rebuilding step by step, not with superficial flashiness, but with solidity and transparency. My company weathered the most difficult period, but the sweet fruits I am now tasting have a completely different meaning. They taste of perseverance, of humility, and most profoundly, of gratitude. This story, the lesson from the old wooden box, is my own deeply personal experience. It didn't happen in any specific famous location, but within my own journey of growth, filled with stumbles. That dramatic shock was necessary for me to truly internalize the principle of, when eating fruit, remember the person who planted the tree. Now I understand that no matter where you are or where your success comes from, never forget your roots, never forget those who quietly nurtured you. Gratitude is not just a good quality, it is the strongest foundation for all lasting success. And that is the message I want to share with all of you.